in a hurry, or you just think the speed limit doesn't apply to you?
Afternoon, officer. Here's my license and my identification.
Yeah, set it right. Wait, what is this?
It's my judicial credentials. I'm Judge Charles Whitfield, County Superior Court.
Judge?
Your Honor, I didn't realize.
I gathered that.
The body cam is already recording. Red and blue lights wash across a quiet residential street. The sound is mostly static. A police radio murmurs in the background. The man inside the car does not know any of this yet. He does not know that every word will be replayed. He does not know that the officer behind him has already decided what this stop means. The officer's voice cuts through the night. Step out of the vehicle. Now. The camera angle never changes. The mistake has already been made. What the officer cannot see, what the audience already understands, is that the man in the driver's seat is not who the officer thinks he is. He is not a suspect. He is not lost. He is not casing the neighborhood. He is a sitting judge, a state court judge with more than 20 years on the bench, a man who has sworn people into office, a man who has ruled on police misconduct cases, and for the next 43 minutes, none of that will matter. The day begins without significance. It is a weekday evening. Just after 8 p.m., court has run long. The judge leaves the courthouse carrying a leather briefcase. Inside are motions, draft opinions, a copy of the State Criminal Procedure Code heavily annotated. He stops for gas, pays with a card, nods to the clerk. Nothing unusual happens. He drives home along a familiar route, a tree-lined street, single-family homes, porch lights on. This is not a high-crime area. There is no active call, no bolo, no reported thefts. The judge signals. He pulls over briefly to answer a phone call, hands-free, legal. He resumes driving. That is when the lights come on. The officer later describes the reason for the stop as suspicious behavior. No traffic violation is listed. No moving infraction, no equipment failure, just suspicion. The officer is a patrolman with 6 years on the force. No body cam complaints on record, no commendations either. He has discretion, he uses it. The patrol car follows for 2 blocks, then initiates the stop. The judge complies immediately, signals, pulls to the curb, turns off the engine, hands visible on the steering wheel. The officer approaches cautiously. Hand on holster, flashlight raised. The first words are not a greeting. "What are you doing here?" The judge pauses. "I live nearby," he says. "Is there a problem, officer?" The question goes unanswered. "Step out of the vehicle." The judge asks, "Why?" The officer does not respond with a reason. He responds with a command. "Step out, now." At this moment, ask yourself, what would you do? The judge opens the door slowly. He steps out. He is calm, measured. "Officer, before we go any further," he says, "am I being detained or am I free to leave? This is not a provocation. It is a legally precise question." The officer does not answer. Instead, he gestures toward the rear of the car. Hands on the trunk. The judge complies again. He asks a second time, "Am I suspected of committing a crime?" The officer replies, "You're acting nervous." The judge does not raise his voice. "I'm being stopped without cause," he says, "and I'd like to understand why." The officer asks for identification. The judge reaches slowly for his wallet. He narrates every movement. "My ID is in my jacket pocket." He hands over his driver's license. The officer studies it. The name does not register. The title is not visible yet. The officer steps back, returns to the patrol car, runs the license. No warrants, no priors, no alerts. The system clears him. The stop should end here. It does not. The officer returns. "Who owns this vehicle?" "I do," the judge replies. "Where are you coming from?" "The courthouse." The officer smirks. "At this hour?" "Yes," the judge says. "I'm a judge." The word hangs in the air. The officer laughs once, briefly. "Sir, don't lie to me." This is the moment. This is where the stop becomes something else. The judge reaches into his briefcase. He moves slowly, carefully. He removes a leather credential holder. Inside is a state-issued judicial identification card. Name, photo, title. "Officer," he says, "I am a sitting judge of this court." The officer does not take the card immediately. Instead, he steps back. His posture changes. He keys his radio. "Supervisor requested." This is the irreversible mistake. because now the encounter is no longer private, it is institutional. The supervisor arrives within minutes. He listens. He reviews the ID. He looks at the patrol car. There is no yelling, no apology, only silence. The supervisor hands back the credentials. "You're free to go, Your Honor." That is all he says. No explanation, no acknowledgement. The judge returns to his car. He drives home. The body cam keeps recording. The next morning, the judge files a formal complaint, not as retaliation, as documentation. He attaches the footage, the transcript, the timestamps. The Internal Affairs Division opens an investigation. The department issues a statement. "We are reviewing the incident. This language is standard. It means nothing yet." Investigators uncover prior stops by the same officer. Similar language, similar vague suspicion. No arrests, no citations, all black drivers. None resulted in disciplinary action. This is not an anomaly. It is a pattern. The judge files a civil rights lawsuit. Claims include unlawful detention, violation of Fourth Amendment rights, racial profiling under state law. The city responds with a denial. They argue qualified immunity. The court allows discovery. Emails are subpoenaed. Training records reviewed. The footage is entered into the record. The video is released, not leaked, released. News outlets pick it up. Headlines remain cautious. Judge detained in traffic stop. Not racist, not illegal, just detained. The department places the officer on administrative leave with pay. If this can happen to a judge, what happens to everyone else? The city settles, 7 figures, no admission of wrongdoing. The officer resigns months later, no decertification. He is hired by another department within the year. This is lawful. This is routine. The judge returns to the bench. He does not reference the case. He rules on others, some involving police stops, some involving suppression motions. The system continues. Most people stopped do not have credentials. They do not have resources. They do not have leverage. They comply. Or they escalate, or they disappear into the system. This was not a story about one officer. It was about discretion without accountability, suspicion without cause, power without restraint. The law worked here, barely, for one man, music. So the question remains, how many stops end differently when no one important is watching? If you believe these stories matter, subscribe, comment, and keep watching, because the record is still being written.